everybody, Trevor here, and welcome to another Top 20 video. And as promised, I'm going to do another Top 20 Bachmann Thomas items I like to see be manufactured. Why am I making another Top 20 video about it? Well, believe it or not, there are a lot of other things in the Thomas universe that I either regret not mentioning in the first place, or just didn't have time to talk about them due to the overall length of the video. For this list, not only will I include more engines and rolling stock, but also some ideas for scenery pieces, as well as some non-rail accessories such as road vehicles. Now this time, I won't be splitting this video into two parts because I want to try to get this video done and over with as soon as possible before I go on family vacation this month. In addition, like the previous video, I won't be including any non-televised characters because they don't sell very well, and I won't be including those that appeared in the honorable mentions of the last video. Oh, and I also won't be including any Legends Ghost stuff either, because I've heard Bachmann won't make that kind of crap. Now without further ado, let's begin this long video, shall we? Number 20, the old coaches. Remember these types of coaches back in the first season of the original show? Yeah, if Bachmann can make models for Tobys Museum coaches which are quite obscure in the show, why not do the same thing with the old coaches but with new and original molds? These types of coaches were normally pulled by smaller engines like Edward, but ever since Season 2, they were replaced by other local passenger coaches. So yeah, that's why these are extremely low on the list. But still, I hope that Bachmann will make these one day just for fan service. Number 19, Vickerstown Station. This station first appeared in the Great Race as one of the most important stations on the Northwestern Railway. It's just like Knapford Station but with a completely different rooftop, and it has a bridge that leads to it. If Bachmann had the budget to make Knapford Station, then I'm pretty sure that they'll make Vickerstown Station as well. If they have the time and money to make it, that is. No rush, just a thought. Number 18. A few more small stations. Even though we have Knapford Station, Maithwaite Station, and that more obscure Sora Junction Station, I believe that Bachmann should make more smaller stations than just a couple. For example, I think it would be awesome if they made new station models of Great Waterton, Farquhar, and even Wellsworth. My point is, I don't want Knapford, Maithwaite, and Sora Junction to be the only stations available. I still want a little variety of different ones every now and then. Maybe they will make more someday, but they must have the time and money to make them first. Number 17. Tobys New Shed. Have you seen the early Hit Era episode titled Tobys New Shed? Well, that gives me a great idea for a brand new building scenery piece. Since we got the regular gray engine shed for HO scale, I also think they should make another singular shed but painted wood brown and look more like the one in the original show. That way, if the regular engine shed does get discontinued, which I hope it doesn't, then maybe Tobys New Shed can be its future successor. What do you think of that? Number 16, the Solar Suspension Bridge. Okay, this will be the last one on the list when it comes to scenery ideas. What I love about the suspension bridge is that not only is it big and majestic, but it was used in a lot of plot elements such as calling all engines, where it collapses during a huge storm, and Slow Steven, where Steven becomes the hero after crossing the nearly collapsing bridge just to warn Gordon and his express not to cross it. My point is, since we already have sheds, stations, and many other small buildings, but we don't have any bridges yet, so I think this would be the perfect opportunity for Bachmann to make a new model of the Solar Suspension Bridge. Number 15. The Defuse-It Gunpowder Wagons. Remember these back in the classic TV series? Yeah, why not make them into HON 30 scale too? I mean, we got slate trucks, box vans, a couple different coaches, an open wagon, and the upcoming brake vans. So, therefore, I don't really see why Bachmann can't make these. Hopefully they'll be announced soon in the future because I think they're pretty cool. Number 14 is a tie of 3. Victor, Luke, and Millie. Victor is a red tank engine from Cuba who works at the Steamworks. Luke is an Irish tank engine who usually works at the Blue Mountain Quarry. And Millie is the Earl's private engine on the Estate Railway, as well as being the only female narrow gauge engine in the Thomas lore. The reason these are a tie of 3 is because, for one thing, I think they're all great characters. Secondly, they are the only new narrow gauge characters in the CGI era, which is unfortunate because I would have loved to see more, including some new females besides Millie. And since they are all narrow gauge engines, it's very likely that they'll be made into HON30 scale, just like the other narrow gauge engines in rolling stock. Number 13, Kevin the Mobile Crane. There are at least some non-rail vehicles in the HO scale range, which include Birdie, Harold, Terrence with Snowplow, Cranky, Jeremy, and the upcoming Sir Tom Hat's car. You know who should be next? Since I've already mentioned Victor earlier, why not introduce his assistant Kevin as well? Now, as much as I think Kevin is an okay character overall, but I believe he should be made into HO scale because he and Victor are much more memorable than Carly and Sandy in All Engines Blow. No exaggeration. Number 12, Cleo the Road Engine. In my top 6 non-rail vehicles video, I've put her as number 6 because she's cute and adorable, and I thought her freelance design was very creative. That's one reason why I want her to be made into HO scale. The second reason is that we need more non-rail vehicles and accessories in Bachmann form, and since she's a road vehicle, it would be kinda impossible to make her run on the tracks, so I suggest they make her a non-motorized road vehicle in the HO scale range. Number 11, Bulgy the Double-Decker Bus. In my top 10 Thomas villains video, I've listed Bulgy as number 4 on that list. What I like about him as an antagonist is that he's a liar and a deceiver. Not to mention that he thinks roads are more superior than rails, which is why he frequently says, "Free the roads from railway tyranny!" That's one reason why I want Bulgy to be released in HO scale. The second reason is that ever since season 21, he's been helping Birdie with the passengers all around the island, and I think it would be an excellent idea to make a model of him. Number 10, Trevor the Traction Engine. Okay, this is the last non-rail vehicle I'll be discussing here. You may remember that this is one of my old avatars, as well as being my most favorite non-rail vehicle of all time due to having the same name as I am. So therefore, I think it would be awesome for Bachmann to make an HO scale model of the character. Number 9, Stephen the Rocket. I remember doing research on Hornby and how they made a model of Stevenson's rocket. If Bachmann decides to make a model of it as well, then I think they should retool it as Steven from King of the Railway, like what they're currently doing with Bo's model. Another reason why I want to see Steven in HO scale form is that he's one of the best and coolest new characters in the CGI series because of his likable and relatable personality. For example, as stated earlier, he saved Gordon and his express from crossing the collapsing suspension bridge. And because of his personality and popularity, it would make plenty of sense to make a model of Steven, but without moving eyes maybe. Number 8, the Chinese Dragon from Season 3. Yeah, remember this from Season 3 as well as in a couple episodes of the early hit era? Why not make an HO scale model of it? I mean, it has been made into many other merchandises like Erdl, Wooden Railway, and Tomy Trackmaster, just to name a few. And not only that, but it would also bring back great memories of the Season 3 episode, Thomas, Percy, and the Dragon. After all, Bachmann does listen to their fans sometimes. Number 7, Philip the Diesel Box Cab. I know I'm going to get some hate for this, but I personally wouldn't mind an HO scale model of Philip from Season 19 because not only he's an American like myself, but he's also cute and funny. In terms of the CGI series so far, we've got Ryan as well as the upcoming models of Bo and Rebecca, so why not make a model of Philip as well? Number 6, Judy and Jerome. Remember when I put these two in the honorable mentions in the last video? Yeah, I've decided to put them as number 6 because they were the original breakdown train from Season 1 but more sentient. Not only I want Rocky in Bachmann form, but I also would like to see Judy and Jerome be manufactured as HO scale rolling stock along with the Works unit coach. Another thing I like about Judy and Jerome is that it just goes to show you that Rocky isn't the only breakdown train on the Northwestern Railway. So I'm very thankful that Mattel made a great use for these two. That was until the original show ended after season 24, which is very sad in my opinion. Number 5. More variants of Percy the Small Engine. So far, Thomas the Tank Engine has gotten the most variants in HO scale mode, with a total of 4, while James has 3. Why not make a few new variants of Percy the Small Engine as well? I mean, after all, he is Thomas's best friend. In fact, I thought of some great ideas for new Percy variants, such as the Christmas one, a chocolate covered one, a ghostly one, or even a Jack Frost variant. Wouldn't that be awesome? Number 4. More non-sentient brake fans. The first brake fan I got for Bachmann was the generic light gray one with no detailing on the sides. It's such a shame that this one has been discontinued nowadays, which gives me an idea for a Bachmann HO scale toy. How about we make a few more non-sentient brake fans, whether they be different colors or with new and original molds? Or better yet, why not add a model of Bradford into the mix? After all, we've already got Toad and the Spiteful Brake Fan in the range, so why not do the same thing for Bradford? Number 3. Hero the Japanese Tender Engine. Steven isn't the only popular new character in the CGI series. There is also Hero, who made his first debut in the 2009 special Hero the Rails. So therefore, I think it would be great if Bachmann made an HO scale model of the character, not just for fan service, but for more publicity. Number 2. More G-scale human figures. Seriously, we need more human figures in G-scale form. I don't want Sir Topham Hatt, Farmer McColl, and the 2 conductors to be the only ones to be made. Here's an idea. How about a G-scale model of Mr. Percival? I mean, we already have Sir Topham Hatt, so why not do Mr. Percival next? Now, before I get to my number 1 pick, I just want to give a bunch of honorable mentions. Thomas's special coach. It would have easily been number 20, but because it got cut out, I thought I'd use the old coaches instead. George the Steamroller. He got beat out by Trevor the Traction Engine. Smudger. I decided not to include him because, for one thing, he's not as well known as Rheneas. Secondly, he only appeared in one episode of season 4, so yeah, I doubt that this will happen anytime soon. Caroline the Car. She got beat out by Cleo because she hasn't appeared in the show since the model era. Besides, Bachmann is currently making a model of Sir Topham Hatt's car, so please don't rush them. The original narrow gauge coach from season 4. The reason I don't want to include it is because we already have the CGI counterpart in the range, which has the Tally-Clin Railway livery, so it would make it confusing for some of the customers due to the similarities between them. Connor and Caitlin. I was going to include him on the list, but I chose Steven instead because he's based on Stevenson's rocket. But still, it would be nice to see them in the range as well. Hector. I wish I could include this character, but the problem is, he only appeared in 2 episodes of the show, so I don't know if this will ever happen. And finally, number 1. A G-scale model of Edward. Even though I don't collect any G-scale models of engines, rolling stock, and track, but for the sake of argument, I thought I'd put Edward's G-scale form as number 1 because, for one thing, he is very underappreciated nowadays due to the inclusions of Nia and Rebecca. Secondly, he's one of the very first characters created by the Reverend Wilbur Awdry. And thirdly, it would make awesome fan service if Bachmann ever decided to make Edward's G-scale model next. I mean, we've got James and Emily, so why not do Edward next? And besides, he's one of those characters that deserved better treatment than what he's gotten nowadays. Now let me know in the comment section below on which Thomas items you would like to see be manufactured by Bachmann. Do you agree with my list, or do you have your own personal preference? Next time, I will do a sequel to my top 10 Thomas toys I won't buy video, except that it'll be 5 items instead of 10 because there are some candidates I regret not mentioning in the first place. And don't worry, All Engines Go won't be involved this time because I've ranted on it enough times. This is Trevor Davis, signing off.